and welcome. My name is Jocelyn, and today I thought I would give you about a halfway update in my pregnancy. I'm about 21 weeks right now, so we're a little past halfway, which is very exciting. And I thought I would use this time to kind of update you on the first trimester, the first half of the second trimester, and maybe just go over some of my symptoms. Just kind of a good little wrap up of the first half of my pregnancy. And I realized I haven't officially announced on my YouTube channel what Alex and I are having. I have announced it on Instagram, so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you what we're having. I don't know how well it's gonna show on camera, and I'm probably gonna regret popping this in my beauty room. We did have some leftovers from our little reveal party, so let's go ahead and crack this bad boy open. Oh, well, a boy. It all kind of went that way. A boy! Alex and I, we are having a boy, a little baby boy. And of course we're excited. We would have been excited either way. Now we get to have kind of a clearer vision in our head about what our future is going to look like and what names we can rule in or rule out. We've got quite the list going right now. We won't be announcing his name until after he's here. We're not giving any spoilers, any ideas to any of our friends and family, so Alex and I are the only ones who know what that list looks like and what names are on that list. It's fun to be able to use pronouns now when referring to him in my belly. I've definitely got quite the stomach going on now. So again, I'm about 21 weeks. Let's reverse back a little bit to trimester 1. I did talk a little bit about some of this in a previous update video. It was more like a Q&A kind of video. So I thought I would kind of, like I mentioned earlier, sum up my symptoms. I'm gonna try my best not to gloss over any of the nitty-gritty gross details, because there's a lot of gross details in pregnancy. There's a lot of unpleasantness in pregnancy, and I don't want to sugarcoat anything because I didn't feel like I was very prepared. So maybe if you haven't been pregnant before, this will give you a better idea of what you could expect. Another important thing to note is that every single pregnancy is very, very different, even among the same person. Some people have just an absolutely magical pregnancy the entire time, feel great the entire time, and some people have it the exact opposite. I feel like I fall kind of right in the middle. I don't have it as bad, nearly as bad as some people have it, at least not yet, but I definitely have not had a magical time, I would say. Okay, so let's reverse back to the beginning, I guess, sort of. I found out at 4 weeks. Very excited. We went through a loss last year in the fall, so it was about 4 or 5 months later, I think, if I'm not mistaken, that we got pregnant again. I gave my body some time to heal, which was good and needed, and we got pregnant. Yay! Very, very happy, very thrilled that, you know, I don't seem to struggle with infertility, which I know is a really, really huge thing, and very grateful that I don't seem to have an issue getting pregnant. During my first pregnancy, I had super morning sickness that kicked in at 6 weeks and lasted until I miscarried at 9 weeks. This time it kicked in more at about 5.5 weeks, and this time I was prepared. So if I'm not mistaken, it was a Wednesday night that it kicked in, and I was super nauseous the entire night, non-stop threw up the entire night. And when I woke up in the morning, I already had some Zofran on hand that I had used during the previous pregnancy. So I took that, called my doctor, they prescribed me more Zofran, and that helped me not throw up again. There were still plenty of times where I would be real close to throwing up. During the first, well, between about 5.5 weeks through, it might have been 11 or 12 weeks, I took Zofran pretty consistently because I was just so nauseous. I thought pregnancy nausea was more like a, oh, you're totally fine, oh, you throw up, oh, and then you're totally fine. Maybe it is for some people. It was not for me. I was so nauseous literally all the time. I was never not nauseous. Sometimes it was worse than other times. Sometimes it really felt like I was about to throw up, and I really had to really concentrate, and I was lucky enough to be able to focus my energy and not actually throw up. Most of the time it just sat in my throat, and then it just kind of flared up and then would go back down and then flare up and then go back down. But I controlled my vomiting and major nausea, maybe I would say, through Zofran, through Unisum. Unisum is just an over-the-counter. It's more of a sleep aid, but I found that it helped with my nighttime nausea and just nighttime sleeping in general. And I would cut my Unisum in half so that I would only take half a pill every night. I still am taking half a pill every night to help with the sleeping, and I still kind of get a little bit of nausea here and there, especially if I don't sleep well. But I'll get to that. So I am still taking Unisum, but half a Unisum in combination with Zofran for about 5.5 weeks until about 11 or 12 weeks, I think, is really what helped me. I did try, I think it was B12, no, B10, B5, the B1, B6 maybe is what it is, the one that they recommend you try for nausea. That didn't help me ever. I did try it a handful of different times with my first and second pregnancy. That didn't seem to do anything for me at all. If anything, it made it a little bit worse. So I don't know what that's about. The Zofran and Unisum combination seemed to do the trick for me. I'm very grateful for that. However, I also learned that with pregnancy, your digestive system slows down so that it really, my understanding is, can suck all of the nutrients out of the food that you're consuming. And with that means that you have less frequent bowel movements, which wouldn't be maybe an issue as much if Zofran also didn't create constipation. So combining Zofran and just regular pregnancy constipation made for a very horrible time. Oh my goodness. I mentioned I wasn't gonna shy away from the nasty bits. So here we are. There were days when I was more uncomfortable and in pain and, oh my God, almost in tears during the first trimester because of how bloated, how constipated, how stretched my stomach was than I am now. It was so bad. It was so bad. So I remember calling my doctor and I was like, it's been like 3 days. I'm so uncomfortable. Help me. And they recommended a few different things. They did recommend Miralax. And so for, I think, a total of 3 days, I took Miralax twice a day, and nothing. There was nothing. There was nothing. Nothing. It didn't help at all. So finally, I think it was at the end of day 5, still no movement. I called again and I said, hey, you guys are closed tomorrow. My OB office isn't open on Fridays, Saturdays, or Sundays. So I called on Thursday afternoon and I said, hey, I haven't had any relief. What else can I take? And she was pretty shocked to hear that I had not had relief. So first she was like, are you on Zofran? And I said, yes. And she said, okay, first of all, stop taking that. And I said, oh, okay, so just deal with the nausea or the constipation. She told me to stop taking the Zofran until I had a movement. And then she said to go to the store and get milk with magnesium. She said that will do the trick. And it did. It also made me gag. So just be forewarned that if you're dealing with first of all, I should have prefaced this at the beginning. These are things that worked for me. Please talk to your doctor. If you're pregnant and you're experiencing any of these symptoms, I would recommend talking to your doctor. Don't just go off of what I'm saying, because there might be things that are specialized to you if you're on certain medications or something like that. So these are things that worked for me. The milk of magnesium worked. I had relief, and I did have to take that maybe a total of 3 times, maybe 4 times, and it made me gag every single time. I'm very surprised that I never ended up throwing up after taking that, because it tasted so bad. It was so bad, but it worked for me, thank goodness. After that point, I did slow down on my Zofran usages because my nausea at about 12 weeks was starting to let up a little bit. I was taking it about twice a day. After that point, I think I dropped it to about once a day, usually in the morning time, and then I would take my Unisum at night, and that seemed to do okay. But I wanted to slow down on the Zofran because the constipation was just so horrendous and uncomfortable, and it was so bad. So between about 11, 12 weeks to 14 weeks, the nausea was still pretty bad, but I was managing with just about one Zofran every day, day and a half. And then when 14 weeks hit, I noticed a little bit of a difference. So I started feeling a little bit better, but I still didn't have a lot of energy. I still was decently nauseous. Again, it was a lot better, but it would still flare up and it was still just sitting in my throat. And then at 16 weeks, which I believe is when we announced and did our reveal, I think. I'm pretty sure, yeah, that's when we did our reveal to our friends and family of what we were having. So we found out at, I think it was like 13 weeks, what we were having, and then we waited a little while to tell our friends and family. So at 16 weeks, from there on out, my nausea was pretty much gone, which I'm so relieved about. I was really scared that I was gonna have to deal with the nausea for the entirety of the pregnancy, but I only seem to get flare-ups every once in a while. Usually if I've had a really bad night's sleep, then I'll have a flare-up the next day and get nauseous, but that's kind of it. So nausea is pretty much under control, thank goodness. I do still have not as frequent bowel movements as I would like, so we're still a bit uncomfortable. Another thing that I don't remember anybody ever talking about, but it makes sense, is how uncomfortable my stomach is. My whole abdomen, it feels just tight and uncomfortable, and it makes sense because you're growing out, but I just kind of thought that you would get used to it as it grew, but no, I feel like a balloon that's about to pop. I'm still really tired. I was waiting for that burst of energy that everybody talks about that comes in your second trimester. That didn't happen for me. I'm so tired. I just feel tired all the time. I feel like a little bit more back to normal at certain times, but not nearly as much and to the extent that I thought I was gonna feel. I still feel very tired, very just low motivation a lot of times, so that's pretty unfortunate. My back hurts so bad. I feel like I need to be doing like back exercises or stretching or something like that, because my back just aches so bad all the time, just all the time. Ooh, another thing that I didn't notice as much in the beginning, but I have noticed in the second trimester, is that my sense of smell, like they say, is off the charts. There's so many things that I'll turn to my husband and be like, oh my God, do you smell that? And he says no, but I can smell it. I can smell this thing that's there. Alex cleaned our shower the other day with bleach, and I could smell the bleach in our room for days afterwards. It wasn't until I lit a candle to kind of clear the air that it finally went away. There's so many things where I can smell, but he can't. So sense of smell, definitely off the charts, which isn't the best thing, but I guess it could be worse. It's not triggering my nausea, which is nice. I've definitely had to expand my wardrobe quite a bit because I have a lot of high-waisted shorts, high-waisted pants, and like kind of cropped tops, and those don't really work as much with a growing belly, so I've had to buy some stuff. I'm thinking of doing kind of a maternity haul and pregnancy haul of all the things that I've bought for myself, clothing wise, but also just in general pregnancy wise, to help along. I'm willing to buy just about anything to improve my comfort level. To be absolutely honest, don't really like being pregnant. I'm so happy and I'm so excited to be carrying this child and growing this child, and I like know and understand how magical it is and how blessed I am and how grateful I am to be able to do this and be going through this experience. But I think at the same time, I don't want to shy away from the fact that like I don't really like this. I don't really like being pregnant. I don't feel good almost ever. I'm in pain, I'm in discomfort. There's this weird part of my mind that is kind of freaked out at the fact that I have something inside of me that's growing and sucking my life force out, which is such a weird way to put it. It's more just the discomfort and the aches and the pains, and thank goodness I'm not nauseous anymore because I think that would make it so much worse. It's unfortunate, and I think it's doubled for me by the fact that I always thought I was gonna love being pregnant. I always thought that it was gonna be such a great experience and I was just gonna glow and be so happy and excited, and I am excited and I am happy, but I'm in pain and I'm uncomfortable all the time, and I'm so tired and unmotivated and constipated and just not having a good time. And I think it's important to be okay with that. Like, I signed up for this, and I know I signed up for this, and I'm okay and I'm at peace with the fact that I don't like this, but I want to go through this because I want what's on the other side. I want a baby. I want a child with my husband that we created, and now we get to help become a human that will do good in the world. I don't remember people talking about pregnancy this way until I've been going through it. And I feel like I've been hearing people more often talk about the not great side of pregnancy. And I don't want to scare anybody either, because, you know, some people totally fine throughout the entire pregnancy. They absolutely love it. I mean, there's people who are surrogates over and over and over again, you know. Pregnancy can be it is a beautiful thing, and it can be a very good experience. It's an experience for me, and I'm not necessarily enjoying it. I do enjoy the little kicks and jabs that I feel. Sometimes they freak me out a little bit, if I'm being absolutely honest, but I also am very excited about them, and I'm really excited to be able to feel him from the outside. I haven't been able to yet. I'm really stoked for when Alex is able to feel him from the outside. My placenta is on the anterior, which means it's on the outside of my stomach. So there's some padding there, which means it's going to be a little bit longer before we're able to see kicks from the outside, which is a little bit of a bummer, but it's okay. We did have our I don't think I mentioned any of this yet. We did have our anatomy scan, and everything looks great, which is fantastic. I'm very, very excited about that. You don't expect anything to go wrong, but it happens to somebody, so you just never know. But our little baby's heart and brain, all of his limbs look good. He was confirmed as a boy during that appointment. We did get some 3D images, but none of them turned out. He had a leg and a foot and an arm in front of his head, so he was not cooperating, which is fine. I go in another, it must be about 2.5 weeks, and we'll get more 3D images then, and hopefully his little leg will be away from his face so we can get a cute little picture of his face. I really want to see his face. The closer we get to my due date, which is October 2nd as of right now, the more excited I get about holding him and him being on the outside, which I know we're in for quite the world of fatigue once he's here, because he feeds every 2 hours and we're gonna have hardly any sleep, but I know that. I am prepared for that. What else? What else should I be updating you on? I feel like there's probably more things. I'm tired. I'm very low energy, which is why there hasn't been as much content as I would like. I just don't have a lot of inspiration to think of ideas and film things, but that's just where we're at. And that's okay. It's okay. Again, I do want to do a pregnancy maternity haul, because I've got some clothes recently and some little gadgets and pillows and things that I thought I would share with you, because I know a lot of you are kind of interested in this journey. This is the room that will become the nursery, so my desk will move over here, and then crib and stuff will be on this wall. So I'm excited to get that going, but we are looking into replacing the carpets in the 3 rooms, and then maybe painting this wall over here a green color, because our theme for the nursery is going to be kind of jungle with stars and moons tied into it a little bit. That's kind of the vision in my head, but I think we want to paint this wall over here green, and I've got a crib picked out that I like, and we'll see. I don't know. I haven't done too much investigating yet. I feel like the weeks are going to start to go by really fast, so we should probably get a jump on it, but that's where we're at right now. So I thought I'd give you a little update, kind of share the nitty-gritty of my experience so far with pregnancy and the symptoms, and just kind of how I feel, which I hope nobody takes it the wrong way, because I know that there's a lot of people that struggle with getting pregnant in general, and this doesn't take away from that struggle at all. Obviously, I'm very lucky and very grateful to be pregnant and to be able to be pregnant, and I feel so strongly for those who struggle with infertility or anything of that nature. And I mean, it's just such a sensitive topic, and I'm sensitive to that, and I understand that it can be really horrible to want something so bad and then to see somebody else have it and then complain about it, I'm sure that doesn't feel good. But I also don't want to, again, shy away from, like, I don't want to lie and be like, oh yeah, I feel like great all the time and I'm loving this, because I'm not. Simply put, I'm not loving it. There you have it. There is my update. Oh, I haven't showed you a bump pic. Do I want to try and do that right now? Hold on. Let me see if I can get a bump pic for you. All right, so here's kind of where we're at right now. This isn't the most flattering angle, I don't think, but this is about 21 weeks. All right, so there is my update. I hope that you enjoyed. Let me know what your experience with pregnancy, if you've gone through it before, is down below. I'm thrilled for you if it was nothing like mine and you just glowed and were so happy the entire time. But also, if you're somebody who has had a similar experience to me or worse, I sympathize and empathize with you. It is what it is. Sacrifices must be made. All right, that's everything I have for you today. I will see you in the next one.